Hello everyone, it's Ken Wilford here at Vanagon. I thought I would do a live stream today. This is Friday, January 29th, 2021. Hope you guys are having a great day. And I'm having a great day today. I just got this amazing book that I have been waiting to get for over a month. And I'm very excited about it, so I thought I would come on and do a live stream. Good to see Steve DeRuiter on here. Good to see Guitar Magic. Hola to you, my friend. I just got this amazing book. It is called Cambi un art de vivre. Okay? And it's actually a French book. And I got it from a place called Serial Cambi in France. And it's a pretty amazing book. I mean, you see the front of it here. When I got it, I thought that maybe it was actually damaged because they basically took the nose of a bus and kind of reproduced it here on the front. It's even if it's even kind of raised as far as the emblem goes. You got some rust here and things, so it's pretty neat. And then inside you've got pictures of VW buses. One of them, and there's a bunch in here. There's a lot of nice photography. I'll show you just a couple of things real quick. This one is the wind split. It's actually the bus that the guy that owns Serial Cambi, it's his bus, the 1967 high top split window, and it's actually actually a race bus. Okay, so my French is a little rusty. I've been trying to, read a little bit and look at it, but it's built for racing. It's built for drag racing, and it's kind of funny to see here in the back where he is actually loading a can of nitrous into the back of his bus. You don't really see. I guess you can't really see it because of the glare, but it's like right here in the picture. He is actually putting a can of nitrous in the back of his bus because, this is a drag race bus, okay? So you have to have nitrous, or why even bother? And it's also, based off of a Beetle engine, but it's a 2364 Beetle engine, super modified. You can kind of see the picture of the engine and I don't even know what this distributor is that's in here. Highly modified. Highly modified. So just a really cool book. I thought about maybe getting some of these and having them available for people to buy, but I wanted to get one for myself. It's kind of like a Christmas present, and they're not cheap. They're an expensive book, but it's really well made. It's hardbound. To me, it's like the perfect coffee table type book that you would have as a Volkswagen van owner. To put this on your coffee table, or put this like in your bus. If you're going to a get together, a show or something, you could put this in there on the seat, and people will be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then they'll sit down, start reading through it. Most of it really is just the eye candy of the pictures, and the artist that took the pictures, the photographer. He just kind of zooms in on certain things on the bus that he's interested in or whatever. Like here's another one. This is a split window that has this, I think they call that a banjo style steering wheel or something. I can't remember exactly what they call them. I've never seen one myself, but of course they're rare and hard to get and all that good stuff, but also aesthetically, pleasing. And that's a 63 double cab. Okay, so pretty neat. There's a lot of nice, really cool pictures in here. I'm sure that stories are interesting, but you have to be able to read French. So I'm either going to brush up on my French, or I might, get out the phone and cheat. Point at the thing and have it translate for me. Alright, so it's good to see Rob LeBeau on here with us. Howdy to you. Also, William Winget, good to see you, Dan Winget. Also, Daniel DeSimone, he made it. Chuck Ott made it. So it's good to have all you guys on here. So that is something I was excited about, that book, and I've been waiting on that. I've actually bought it back in December before Christmas, thinking, okay, it's a Christmas present to myself. And then FedEx lost it, along with a box full of other parts and things. So I waited an entire month, finally gave up on it, and Serial Combi just, declared it lost or whatever, and they reshipped to me another one. But yeah, just to give you an idea, I mean, that book, it would probably be in the $69 range for me to sell it to you. So it is not a cheap book, but it's very nice, very well made. Not something you could just buy on Amazon, I wouldn't think. So, alright, so that's one thing I got. I'm going to answer Eric's question here in a second. I also got this other thing, and you got to see this. This is crazy. So I saw this piece online as well. The pictures of it were not very great, so I had no clue what it was going to be. So I just bought it because I thought, hey, why not? And I'm pretty sure this is like the last one ever. Okay? This is basically a big chunk of the front end of a Vanagon. Okay? So you've got your... these are the tops of where the springs go, okay, right here. And the shocks mount. And then this frame that's going from side to side, okay, is usually welded under the front. And you've even got where your upper control arm mounts. That tube is right here. So there's a bunch of stuff going on here on this one part. Now, I had a guy call me. He was looking for this, or he said he thought he might need it or something. So I put it on the website. After I bought it, I looked back and there isn't any more. Like, this was the last one they had. Now you can kind of look in here where, no, maybe not on this side, I don't know, where the top of the shock goes. It has a little bit of rust in here, okay, but you could easily clean that out. It's really just from sitting on a shelf for, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years. There was some rust in here, but you can clean it out before you put on paint, everything. So if you needed this piece, right here it is. I've got it on the site. It's got the OE Volkswagen logos on it. So this was an original Volkswagen repair piece. They used to sell big chunks of the body back in the day as repair pieces, but a lot of that stuff it's over. Okay, it's over. So I thought I would share that with you as well. I mean, that thing is, again, just crazy because it's such a big piece. It probably weighs, well, I actually weighed it earlier. It weighs 18 pounds, and it just feels like super beefy. Okay, so there's my two things I just got that I wanted to share with you guys that way. All right, so let's take questions. We got Eric asking about the AC kit. Does it replace the blower HVAC unit? Yes, it does. Okay, so you would basically remove your front air box and put this in place of it. And it has a heater in it as well, heater core. So you're basically replacing your heater core, your blower fan, the resistors and stuff for that. You know, plus you're also getting an air conditioning unit, as well along with that. So in some ways, if you broke down all the parts that you're replacing with new updated versions, you're getting stuff that way. And the other cool part is the heater valve. Okay, so you know how they have problems with the heater valves and the heater slider things and all this other stuff. That is all replaced. Okay, that's all replaced. So And it's all replaced with a motorized valve and knobs that you can turn and all that stuff instead of sliders. So no more sliders. Okay, no more sliders. So it definitely has some benefits to it. If you eliminate all that wonderfully designed things, now you don't have to worry about the heater valve leaking. That's a common issue people have, even with brand new ones that are not that old. Okay, they leak and that kind of stuff. So it's a nice unit. So he says, I have the compressor condenser bits from a Mark IV. I'm looking to retrofit it to my 1.8T swap. So yeah, yep, it would eliminate that. Yeah, electric switches for instead of the sliders. When they have these rotating switches that come with it, you can set it to different. Like say you want to set it to defrost, you want to set it to floor heat or whatever. You turn that, and there's little motors inside the unit that turns the flappers and all that stuff. And then there's a little motorized valve as well for that kind of stuff. Do I have a repair kit for the AC tunnel that is mounted to the ceiling? So Volkswagen did a recall on that. And there's a lot of people out there that have never had it done. It is a safety recall, so there is no time limit on it. So what I would do first, my number one thing I would do is to get your VIN number, call your local Volkswagen dealer, and ask them if this recall has ever been done on your van. They can look it up with your VIN. If it hasn't, then you can take it to them and they can do that recall for you. And so they will repair the ceiling AC unit for free. Okay, so that would be the first thing I would try. If that's not convenient, I don't have a kit to repair it. The Volkswagen factory repair was to put these metal plates, up there, and that would spread out the load on the ends of the ducts where they would kind of attach to the ceiling. So what I've done is I've went along with just got some tin and some shears and made my own metal plates and just kind of like ran them in even farther, like, 6 inches, 10 inches, and, got that working better that way. So that's my advice. I actually did some videos, Daniel, on that when I was restoring that 91 Vanagon. So you might want to take a look at that. It'll let you see how I did it. I just used some metal plates and some JB Weld and put it together. It actually worked good. As far as I know, it's still hanging in there. Alright, so is there any other questions going on here today? I'm just looking through the stuff that I just bought. I just had 2 big boxes show up. One of the things, again, I'm going to remind you guys of is we have all of the window seals available for the Vanagon. All of them. Okay, so people, again, are still contacting me. They're still calling me. They're still asking me, do you have window seals for the Vanagon? I'm like, yes. And what I'm trying to do is just constantly get more. So when I get, would I trust the VW? If it's free, why not? Right? If it's free, why not? How worse can they do it than you would have did it? I know some of you guys on here are professionals, and some of you guys on here are skilled, are highly skilled, but a lot of people aren't. So, if you take it to a shop that, can do things and people have mechanical skills, that might be better than just somebody doing it that doesn't have any of that. I don't know, but anyway. So, yep. Do I trust them? Most of the dealers never sold a Vanagon, right? Most of the dealers went out of business in the 90s, and then a whole new crop of dealers showed up. And that's who we have today. So there are some dealerships that lasted, but most of them did not. Most of them went out of business back in the 90s, and then a whole new group came along, and a lot of the new ones were like Volkswagen, Subaru, Kia, whatever, all these Mazda, Mitsubishi, all that great stuff. Do I ever see the South African lower grill? I do not. Oh, he's already redacted that message. Or maybe he's trying to say, do I ever see the South African upper grill? I mean, of course not. Why would I see that? Because I don't. There's none out there. Wink, wink. Yep. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Let's continue on. So, I don't know if you heard the sad news last week, but the Volkswagen ID Buzz, right? How many people heard about this? The Volkswagen ID Buzz. This is our latest and greatest Volkswagen bus, electric savior bus that was supposed to come out in 2022. Guess what happened to it? Okay, guess what happened to it? Take a wild guess. What happened to it? It has not been canned, but it has been delayed. It has been delayed. And so, this is not a shock to me. Okay? I mean, I was reading an article about it. It's like, it was first debuted in 2015. Okay? And they made that, the demo vehicle. They drove it all around and showed it to people and talked about how it's going to be all electric, how it's going to be self-driving, and, all that stuff and things. I don't think it's a safety delay. I think it's vaporware. If I had to guess. Because what happened to the last two Volkswagen bus revival buses that they came out? And I like both of those designs. They were both cool. But yeah, now it's delayed to 2023. So think about it this way. It basically was designed in 2015. Okay, by the time it comes out in 2023, how many years is that? It's like 7. Am I thinking right? I don't know. I'm blanking here, but yeah, it's a lot of years. It's 8 years, right? If it comes out in 23. I can't do math right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm feeling bad right now. Hold on. Never don't pay attention to me. Yes, 8 years, man. I'll tell you what, when you're on TV, it makes your brain go out the other window. So 8 years, if it comes out in 2023, after it was initially designed. So it's almost going to be a 10-year-old car when it finally comes out. I mean, I feel like by the time it gets to 2023, which, is 2 more years from now, they're going to either completely redesign it or something. Okay, so because it's been out so long, people are going to be like, hey, we want something even more fresher. All right, so can we get collector plates for it before it releases? Yeah, I mean, I have one of these. Johnny Lightnings or something of the other one. Let me go get it real quick. I showed you guys this on here before. So I have a Johnny Lightning of the 2001 Volkswagen Microbus concept that never happened. Okay, I have one of them. So maybe we should get a Johnny Lightning of the 2015 VW bus concept. Now I think there was another one after this one actually. That was another VW bus concept that never happened. Because if I remember right, I mean, there's been at least 2. Yeah, I have this one. And then, actually, my daughter had a Barbie one of the one before that, I think. So I think there was one in the late 90s, or maybe, I'm not sure. I'm confused about this one. This is 2001. Maybe there was another one that was after this one. But I know my daughter had the Barbie bus one. So will it be the T7? I don't think so. I think the T7 is out already. Right? I can Google search it real quick. But I'm pretty sure the VW T7 Are we at T7 or T? I thought they announced that. Yeah, yep. That is not the. That is not the ID Buzz. Okay, so that is another version of the bus. Okay, and it's not out yet, but it's supposed to actually come out to Europe this year, 2021. Okay, so at some point in this year, it's going to come out. I got some spy pictures of it here. Let me see if I can go to this, and then I can do this. Did that do anything? Yeah, okay, yes. Please don't crash. Okay. Oh no, what happened? Alright, something weird happened. I've been having problems with Chrome today, crashing. Alright, let's go back to this. And this right here. What are you doing? No, shut up. Okay. Yeah, here it is right here. See that you have it all in this weird spy camo stuff and things. But yeah. Did I lose the stream because Chrome crashed? Ugh, probably. Alright, it's back. I'm sorry, my Chrome browser crashed, so hopefully I didn't lose you guys. Knight Rider T 2025, yeah. Yep, yeah, so T7 is actually, it's not a concept, it is pretty much getting ready to get produced. But again, you know, what does it look like? It just looks like a kind of a fancy Eurovan or something. It doesn't really look, I mean, I've seen the T6s in real life in Belize. They're cool and everything. I mean, I might get one if I needed a van, but it's not. It's more like a minivan. You know what I mean? It's more like a Mazda MPV or something like that than something that's, you know, like our things. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with Chrome? It just keeps crashing and crashing. Ugh, so bad. All right, let me get out of this, and we'll just stop streaming the thing so it can stop crashing every 2 seconds. Okay, let me go back to the camera. Sorry about that. Chrome is being bad. Okay. So anyway, hey, good evening from Germany. Okay. And it never shared. Alright, so anyway, yeah, it's my Chrome browser is just being terrible right now. I don't know what's happening. So anyway. Alright. So, T7, wonderful, great, but we'll never get it here in the U.S., so. We got Nugavan, good to have you with us, and we got Oregon Expat, okay, as well. Good to have him with us as well. Alright, so you guys have any other burning questions going on? I can tell you about some crazy stuff that happened here this week, or some crazy conversations and phone calls I had. I had a guy today that got in touch with me through the chat, and he was asking me about getting sweet. He was asking me about getting his did I have a source for a cabinet set, okay, for a cabinet set for a Volkswagen camper. And he said he had a weekend to put a stove and a sink in it. And I said, well, you know, and how much would that be and all this other stuff? I mean, it would be a lot of money. It'd be expensive, right? Because think about it for a second. So a Westy weekender never had a sink or a stove whatsoever. So you would have to get a cabinet that would have the ability to have a sink and a stove in it. And you might be able to grab one out of, say you grabbed one out of a Westphalia, which they're not easy to come by. Okay, so that might be expensive. Maybe you could pick one up for $500 if you got super lucky. Okay, but you still have a couple problems, right? One of your problems is, where do you get your propane for your stove? Okay, so you would have to do something that way, like have a portable propane tank. Okay, say you put that under the sink area, have a portable propane tank inside the car. Okay, I fixed that problem. I have a stove inside the car now. But now you have a sink as well. Okay, where's the water gonna come from for that? Okay, I guess if you didn't have a fridge, you could put a water tank where the fridge is, and then you could have a sink and a stove, but you wouldn't have a fridge. So you'd have to have your fridge be separate. I guess you could do it that way. But it would be very expensive, you know, just getting it all set up. And I don't really have a source for that. Now, I was looking at a place called Rhino Designs, I think. Let me go on their website real quick. Rhino Design. I'm not going to do a screen share because, it's just not worth it today. Yeah, rhinodesignstudio.com. He makes a bunch of different things for the Vanagon and the Eurovan, like cabinetry and things like that. And they're nice. They're not cheap. Okay? And then he even talks about Vanagon custom interiors, which he has did before, but he doesn't give a price on it. Okay? So, yeah, I'm not so all right. So I was just talking about how could you make this possible, right? Oregon Expat. I didn't say this was a good idea. I said, how can you make this possible? Because, on a weekender, you would have to buy an exterior propane tank, mount it underneath, like a Westie, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I was trying to make it as simple as possible. Putting the propane tank inside the car, bad idea, okay? Actually, really, let's be honest, okay? Putting the stove inside the car, I don't really think that's a great plan either, okay? Because the stove puts off a lot of heat, right? In the summertime, most of the people I know that have a Westie do not cook inside the car because you're making so much heat inside the car, right? They have an external stove they take outside, they put on a picnic table outside, and they cook outside the car. Okay, I've even seen some guys that make their own, cabinetry things, and they'll have this special stove thing that kind of like slides out the door so you can cook outside, and you can, yeah, and it also makes a lot of moisture. Yep, the propane, burn that propane. You're going to have to put a lot of moisture inside the car. And it's going to do some serious condensation things. And it can do condensation in places where you will never know about it until it starts rusting. Okay, so if you have a stove and a sink in your Westie, leave it that way. Okay, I'm not saying take it out, okay? Leave it that way. But if you don't, like a weekender, to me a weekender is a great vehicle because it's way more flexible. Okay, if you have a weekender, you grab a camp stove, you have one of those plug-in 12-volt refrigerator things, and you have a bucket as your sink. Boom, you're good. Right? You can do everything a Westie can do, a full Westie can do, and at the end of that trip, you take that stuff out, throw it in the garage, in the corner of the garage, and now you got all this floor space. Okay, so, that's what I like, but that's just me. Yeah, so I had a text about that, and I was talking back and forth with that guy about it, and then he just kind of peaced out on the chat. I know sometimes it's because they lose connection or something, so maybe he didn't peace out, it's just, that wasn't going the way he wanted to go, so. But anyway, and then I had another customer call me this week who I thought, was a very rational individual. And he was trying to say, Ken, how much would it cost to turn my van into an electric van? How much would it cost to do that? I said, way more money than you got. And on top of that, right, you're going to lose functionality, you're going to lose a lot of good things. So you're going to spend a whole bunch of money and you're going to lose things. And he was like, oh, please tell me more. Tell me more. So we talked about it. I think I've talked about it on here before. An electric powered vehicle right now, okay, is still, it's like right on the edge, okay? It's right on the edge of being a decent vehicle, okay? Now, the Tesla ones and some of the other ones that are made specifically from the ground up to be electric, they are really decent, okay? They're really good as being a vehicle, okay? But taking like an older car, turn it into an electrical vehicle right now, there's like lots and lots of trade-offs going on. And most of the trade-offs are stuff that you wouldn't want to trade off. Okay? So you're going to trade off your range so you can drive the car. Okay? Like, there's a couple on YouTube that's in France that has been working on doing electric synchro Westy for a couple years now. And I mean, this guy is like an engineer, and he is doing everything as like amazing as you could possibly imagine. And as far as I know, that project is on hiatus after 2 years of work. I'm not sure if the coronavirus put it on hiatus or life got in the way or what happened with that. But I mean, he's got Tesla cells that he bought from salvage and put underneath the car and kind of put them under the floor, and they redid the interior. I think they might have put another layer inside the car. And even with all of that, their range is not that great. And they're pulling behind, the French guy. They're pulling a trailer behind the van with more batteries. And then they're also having solar panels on the roof of the van and the trailer to try to get some range. Because their goal was to take this thing all around the world and kind of show off the fact that you could retrofit older vehicles and not get rid of older vehicles. And I mean, believe me, I don't want to get rid of older vehicles. And if the time comes when we can retrofit the electric engine into a Vanagon, and it's, very close or whatever to the functionality of a regular Vanagon, then I say go for it. Okay, but right now it's not there yet. I mean, think about it this way too. So your van has a 12-gallon gas tank, okay, and then you get say 20 miles to the gallon. So that's 240 miles of range, okay. And your electric Vanagon is only going to have, usually they have 50. Maybe a super amazing one might have 100, but you're still at like half of your normal range. And then as far as refueling it, you go to the gas station, you put in your 12 gallons of gas, you make it go totally empty. You can put 12 gallons of gas in your van in 5 minutes? I mean, I usually put the thing on and go in and get a coffee, and by the time I come out, it's clicked off like 5 minutes ago or something. So I mean, 5 minutes, you're fully fueled and you're ready to go back on the road. Okay. I mean, the electric stuff, some of the super amazing Tesla stuff and things, you can get every decent charge level back in like 20 minutes or something. But I mean, that is using that special charger, special batteries. Everything has to be like in that whole Tesla ecosystem to take advantage of that. Okay, so you have some Vanagon that's turned into electric Vanagon, and it's got like a regular 110 plug-in that you have to use to charge it. I mean, you'll be there for stinking 8-10 hours charging this thing. So anyway, so it's not ready for prime time yet. I mean, I like the idea of the electric engine having the power, having the reliability of it, and that kind of stuff. But just wait. Okay, so not yet. We're not ready yet. So that was a couple conversations I had this week. Daniel DeSimone says, SoFine Company in Colorado will custom make all new interior panels and matching seat covers to your specs. Not cheap, but nice. Yeah, they're decent. They're decent. I mean, I've used them. We restored a bunch of vans. This one customer of mine had 10 Vanagons, or 10 vans and buses, and we restored a lot of them, and we used SoFine for the Vanagons, and it's decent. It's decent. But the only downside to it is you can kind of tell that it's not original. Like, it looks like reproduction stuff. So, that's the only downside. And there's some stuff that's been coming along recently that's nicer than that. I mean, on the buses, we've been getting these nice, very close to original looking reproduction seat covers from Europe. It's even using like that same, Scottish Highlander plaid stuff and things. And I mean, those things look original. I like that. Okay, I like that. And then we've actually been getting some of these carpet kits too, that from England, from this company called Newton, that they're pre-molded and they're trying to match the original colors and everything. I mean, I like them too. Why? Because when you put them in, it looks original. Like, it doesn't look aftermarket. It looks original. So, so fine. I'm not busting on those guys. They do nice work. They have supported the community for many, many years. I've used them in the past myself. They're expensive because they're making all this stuff in the U.S. and everything. It's not cheap. But at the end of the day, it's the quality level you're going to get. It's going to look like somebody recovered all this stuff. Okay, so it's going to look like. It's going to look like, wow, okay, somebody recovered all these seats and somebody redid the carpet. And I can tell because it doesn't look like it did when it was original. Okay, so anyway, all right, so we got Daniel Ginn said, can't wait until the Waterboxer is the highest horsepower vehicle in my town. I will finally be pulled over for speeding. Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it was funny when people get pulled over for speeding in a Vanagon. Usually they pull you over because they think you're smoking drugs or something. But I guess since that's all legal now, maybe we won't get pulled over anymore. So, see, it's legal in New Jersey now, I guess. So it's supposed to be. Oregon expat, but I don't do it. I never have done it. All right, Oregon expat. Yes, I think if you want to go electric, it will need a generator to go with it. Yeah, I mean, then get a generator. It's like have a whole nother level of complexity and stuff. I mean, then you have the worst of both worlds. You have this electric system, and now you have a gas engine, and I mean, yeah, I would like either one or the other, not both. Okay. And Oregon Express says, do I know this TriStar? I picked one up a few months ago. I have heard of the TriStar. Yeah, they're a sweet vehicle, definitely. Special edition, right? 16-inch synchro, and it's like a double cab, I think. If I could use my thing, I would show pictures of them up here on the screen, but nope. Chrome be crashing today. Okay. I'm trying to think any other conversations I've had this week. I get all these conversations and things, and sometimes I enjoy it. Sometimes if I'm super busy, like I was super busy this week, man, we were slamming and jamming this week. So I don't know if it's because people got their stimulus checks or what was going on, but woof. Now today it's been kind of quiet, but yeah, earlier this week it was ripping. I actually did the whole week's worth of orders by about Wednesday, and so I thought I was going to have a double week, but I guess after Wednesday everybody spent their stimulus money, so unless we get like a whole bunch of orders tonight or something. Not necessarily. Okay, all right. See, I thought the TriStars were like totally maxed, so I figured they were all synchros, but double cab. Okay. I mean, the one I've always thought was cool was that the Jagged wagon. The one that's made for hunting, and it's got this weird like roll cage thing on the outside. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to do. I guess it's just like a brush bar or something. So you're going through the woods and you hit some tree limbs or something. It kind of pushes it out the way. Oh, it has 4 doors. Okay. Is there a kit for the dual batteries, and is it worth the price? Yes, and also yes. I mean, I've talked about it a lot on here. The Red Arc. I guess I could put a link or something in somewhere so you can look at the video on the Red Arc. But that's the one I recommend for the dual batteries, especially if you're going to do lithium. Or if you plan on going to lithium in the future for your dual batteries, definitely use the Red Arc. That's the way to go. Alright, that's all I got to say about that. I think if you go on my website and look in, just type in Red Arc at the top and hit go, it'll bring you to that. It'll bring you to the Red Arc thing, and then I think there's videos on there I did of the Red Arc. He has an original 16-inch synchro van. Alright, so this guy's just bragging it up now. I don't think I've ever had a 16-inch synchro here. I've had, synchros, and I've had double cab synchros here. I don't know if it was a 16. I don't think it was. So, yep. But anyway, that's a European only thing. So how many Vanagons do you have? If you have a TriStar, that's not a synchro, and then you have a 16-inch synchro, how many Vanagons do you have? I mean, I've owned a lot. Right now, I've only got, I'm trying to think. I've got 86 Westy that's still for sale, and I have got a 1990 Karat that's needs to be restored, and I have an 85 Westy that's also needs to be restored. But, anyway, that is a new thing that we will probably do some videos of. I did a video of the 86 Westy, but then the weather turned bad, so I haven't really did much on that. And also, my daughter's getting married next month in March, so, we have to kind of focus on that as well right now. So, alright, so I'm trying to think anything else going on here. I still have some 1.9 distributors available if anybody needs any of those. I never know if they're going to be the last 3 or 4 that I'm ever going to get. So if you want one, you probably should get it. And I've sold a lot of them. I was complaining about the shipping last week, I think. The one package that I sent on December 9th. I sent it to a shop here in New Jersey. It just arrived yesterday. It arrived on the January 28th. So it took about a month and a half to go through the postal system from Millville, New Jersey to about a 2-hour drive from Millville, New Jersey. Okay, alright, so let's see, I used to have a bay window in Oregon, but they are too speedy. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean the people where you're at, they have to go fast. Yeah, I understand. Thanks for congratulations on my daughter. Yep, she's marrying a nice guy. Alright, let's continue. We got Muftobration. It says, do you believe in the Waterboxer long term? Do you think people who intend to keep using these vans for years to come should invest in engine conversions? I mean, I'm kind of torn on that in a way. I like the Waterboxer. I like that you can still repair it and restore it and get it back to, rebuild it and all that stuff. There's always a weak link in the chain. So right now, the weak link in the chain for the 2.1 is that Colben Schmidt kind of sort of stopped making engine bearings for it. Most likely somebody else will make engine bearings, like Molly or Glyco, or somebody will grab, or even that Silverline or something. They'll come along and grab the tooling for it, and they'll start making them in the aftermarket. It hasn't happened yet, and I've been grabbing engine bearing sets. Go Westy actually ordered a whole bunch of them on my website back in September when my son was having his back surgery, and I had to scavenge all over the world for them, and I got most of that order done, but I still probably I had to refund them for about 8 sets, I think, of bearings I couldn't get. They ordered 20 sets of these different sizes that they couldn't find anywhere, and I went up scavenging 12. I got 12, and then I actually just recently got 2 more, but I didn't contact them about that yet. So as long as you can keep getting the parts for the Waterboxer, I think that, and because people are doing the engine conversion, so there's a bunch of Waterboxer engines out there. Some of them are in really nice condition, even though the people took them out to do the engine conversion. I mean, some of them I've seen have very low mileage, very low corrosion levels. I'm pretty sure that you can continue to keep that going for many, many years. As far as the conversions go, I like them in a way, but they're very expensive. And then the other problem happens is just as time goes on, those particular cars or whatever that the conversions are based on get phased out, and then you have to like redo the whole conversion to get to this next engine that's you can actually get. So like back when I started, it was like in the 90s, people were like, hey, we could use this Subaru engine that was from 1980 something and put it into a Vanagon, and there was like 1,000,000 of them in the junkyard. So the original kits, they were all based off of these 1980s Subarus, early 90s Subarus. They were everywhere. Okay, try to find those now, right? There are barely any out there, because when a Subaru goes to the junkyard, it's there for 5 years and they scrap it, or 10, maybe 10 years and they scrap it. So, it's just. So then you have to have a kit that does, like this guy's saying, a 2005 Subaru. Okay, that's great, but now that's a 15-year-old power plant as far as time goes. So, you can, if you have that all set up, you can continue to rebuild that and probably get parts for that and all that stuff for a long time. But, a new person coming into it saying, okay, I want to do a conversion, I'm going to have to grab something newer most likely than an '05. Here in New Jersey, I went to a junkyard. This has been probably 5 years ago, and I wanted to get some parts for like a 90s Golf, and they're like, we don't have anything for that. They're like, anything that's 10 years old or older, we have to crush because we don't have enough space and we don't have demand for the parts. Okay, so it can be a challenge, I think, for conversion suppliers or people or whatever to kind of keep ahead of that curve. Like the Bostic one, I really like that conversion, but again, that motor is phased out of Ford production, and I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 2010 or something. I'm not sure exactly when they ended production of the Focus and that particular engine, but as those cars keep aging, it's going to get harder and harder to find a decent engine and the other pieces that you need to do that conversion. So it's going to be a challenge, okay, with the things. The Waterboxer is still like pretty very well supported, and even the electronics of it, we've been getting more and more support of that as far as having like brand new engine harnesses that we have made, having airflow meters rebuilt, having computers rebuilt, idle units rebuilt. There's actually these guys right now on Facebook who are making a new idle stabilizer control unit for the 2.1 that's using like a Raspberry Pi or something. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. So there's a lot of people that are continuing to do that. Yeah, the Subaru diesel, I think probably what happened to that conversion is that they probably didn't barely sell any Subaru diesels in the U.S., so your engine supply level is low. Like it's a kind of similar thing to what happened like back in 1998 or early 2000s or whatever. People were trying to do a TDI conversions. Early 2000s. I remember that. It's like, and so people would call me all the time. I want to do a TDI conversion. I want to do a TDI conversion. And so I started looking around to try to find a supplier who was building TDI conversion kits that like had everything, had the motor, had all the mounts, had all that stuff. And the problem is, it's like people were like, there aren't enough cars out there to get the motors from. There's not enough, there's not enough of a supply of these junked TDIs because people really like the TDI Jettas and the Golfs. And so if you had one, you just kept it. And if it got into an accident, a lot of people would fix it instead of send it to the junkyard because they just loved it so much, and it's hard to get. It's hard to get those. And so, the supply wasn't there. So, do I have a source for TDI motors? I don't. Okay, maybe there's some out there right now. They had the TDI, Dieselgate thing. And Volkswagen had to do something on that. So a lot of the cars, they had like either two things they did. They bought them back and possibly scrapped them. I'm not sure. They bought them back and they retrofitted them to make them pass emissions or whatever, or they fix them for the customers to pass emissions. But then there's been a lot of stuff about, did that hurt the performance of the car? Probably. Because guess what? That's why they cheated in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They cheated because they wanted the car to perform to a certain level, and then they didn't do that. So, yeah. Okay, I have a... Yep. Yeah, okay, show this. Okay. For some weird reason, VW Oval, that post that you sent with, like, the dollar signs got held for review for some reason. Okay. I don't know if that's supposed to be a curse word in some other language. I have no idea. Alright, so... okay, so Oregon Expat has a Subaru engine in a bus. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool conversion. See, I'm actually more interested in that than in the Vanagon. I've driven them in the Vanagon. They're fine. They're nice. And they have nice power. Everything. I'm not down in them at all. I'll tell you one vehicle that really could use them is the bus. And that's been actually growing. Having the bus. Yeah, I'm sorry you put all those money signs, and it just, oh my gosh, so offensive, okay, everyone? I hope you're not offended by the money signs in the chat, but I approved it, okay, because I'm just edgy, okay? I like to have edge in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, just held it for review. Don't ask me why. But yeah, Subaru engine in a Volkswagen bus, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Why? Because alright, Steve, close your ears right now. I hate the air-cooled motor in the buses. Now, if you go back to the Type 1 engine in the bus, I'm fine with that. Even though it has 0 power, and all you have to, you can't go up hills, you can't do anything. At least, it's easy to work on. It's easy to... Yeah. I know I was going to get booed for that. It's easy to work on. Cheap. Parts are cheap. Parts are plentiful. You can pop it in and out. Alright? Like you're unplugging a thing out of the wall and pop it back in like stinking 20 minutes. I mean, it's great. Okay? Then they go to the bus in the 70s. And they get this engine. You can't do anything to it without taking it out. And then they make it really hard to take it out. It's like... And put it back in. And, like, why? Why you do that? Right? I mean, they had that cool thing where across the back on the old bus, you could just take that centerpiece out. That whole motor just shoom, comes out like nothing. And you can leave everything on it. Just ping, unhook 2 things, just pop it out. They could have did that on them other ones. I guess. They were trying to, like, reinforce it for getting hit, but cut me a break. So they made it all one piece. Now you got to take all this dumb tin things off. And just barely squeeze it out of there. It barely makes it out. And then once you get that out, you got these dumb heater box things under there that don't like to seat onto the heads properly. It's like a big mess. You got to like do some voodoo on that to get them things to seal. I'm just not a big fan of the Type 4. Sorry. The Vanagon one is slightly better because they actually did make the exhaust gasket things on the heater boxes to actually like seal with their actual real gasket instead of just like a little piece of copper. I mean, how lazy do you have to get? Like, we need an exhaust gasket, but I can't really be bothered to design one, so I'm just going to make this out of an oval out of copper. Yeah. And then when you go to put it in, you have to like heat it up with a torch real quick. Nobody's going to know that, but just heat it with a torch and then put it in there. And then that way when you squeeze it, it actually, deforms a little bit and whatever. Now if you don't heat it with a torch, then it ain't going to seal. You're going to put it all together, and then it's going to have an exhaust leak. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, the air-cooled one on a Vanagon is better to drop, yes. Yep. It's just, the air-cooled bus. I'm just saying. So that's what I'm criticizing, Steve. Not so much the air-cooled Vanagon. The air-cooled bus. The air-cooled bus. Why? The 70, and I'll be even more specific, the 73 to 79 air-cooled bus. So before that, or maybe 72. Yeah, maybe I can't remember. 72 to 79. Before that, great. After 72 to 79, good, decent vehicle, but the engine, terrible. All right. Anyway, yeah, yep. Yeah, I don't. It's just it doesn't make sense to me why they made it harder. You know, and that engine is everything on it is expensive. Everything on it is expensive. Everything on it is hard to get, and it's always been that way. I mean, I've been doing this for 21 years. The entire time I've been doing this. Back in the 90s, it was hard to get stuff for the bus engine. And it was very, very expensive to get, parts for it and all this other stuff. And then you do it, put it all together, and the thing leaks oil like crazy, And so it just makes you feel like you didn't do anything. You put together this thing, and then it just kind of works okay. It's not a very satisfying feeling, to be honest. It's not, when you do a lot of hard work on a motor and then it just is okay afterwards, you're just like, wow, did I just waste my life? I don't know. On a Waterboxer, I put them together and got them so they don't leak and they have good power and they run good, everything's good. At least you feel satisfaction. Now, it might not stay like that forever, but, at least it does, you can start out that way, okay? Alright, so anyway, does anybody else have any other questions? I know I get the conversion question a lot. People call me on the phone and, I want to do a Subaru conversion. Or I want to do anything. Just make it TDI, whatever. The TLDR on that is, if you want to spend an extra $10,000, then you can do that. If you don't want to spend an extra $10,000 on top of what you would pay to just do an engine rebuild on a Waterboxer, then, don't do that. So if you're doing it, if you want to go for something as inexpensive as possible, you go for a rebuilt Waterboxer and you go for new coolant hoses and all this new stuff, you'll basically be saving about $10,000, versus an engine conversion. That's just my rule of thumb. It's not everybody. Some people like, I bought my Subaru motor from my grandpop, and it was for $200, and I got all the parts off the car, and I can do my whole conversion, and it only cost me, and I did all the work, and it only cost me $8,000. That's possible, but again, most people want to get it done. They don't want to do it themselves, and to be honest, they ain't got no business doing it themselves. Because they're terrible. Okay? Alright, so Argonne Expo says Congress and the Big Three, for some of that, they rigged it, yes. Yeah, well, it was back when, the emissions thing was going on. And another issue with the air-cooled engines is, the absence of the zinc in the oil now. Okay, so you have to be very mindful of that as well, right? I don't think so. Alright, so rebuilding a Waterboxer, the parts alone are about $2,000. Okay. So if you bought it from, say you bought it from AVP Worldwide, you could buy a rebuilt Waterboxer for about probably $3,500. Okay. Now if you didn't need anything else, you could put it into the car, and you would be out $3,500. Now, if you had to pay somebody to put it into the car, it's about 10 hours worth of work. Okay, so that's another $1,000, so $4,500. If you had to spend a bunch of stuff and put a new exhaust system on it and do all this other stuff, now you're at about $5,000 to $6,000. Okay, a lot of the Subaru conversion things, that's where the conversion parts are. Okay, so that's what I've been seeing. The Boston kit is very expensive, and the Subaru kits seem inexpensive until you buy all of the stuff that you need, because nobody sells everything in one chunk. So it's almost like, how you Yeah, yeah, but the kit is $1,800. But that's not everything, right? It's not everything. Trying to say kit. Uh, you know, once you buy all this part of the kit, the base kit, then you have to buy the exhaust system, then you have to buy the cooling system, then you have to buy this, this, this. Add it up. Okay, add it up. It adds up. Okay, so why does ABP spray paint everything? Because it makes it look, it's beautiful. Okay, it makes it look beautiful. Why do you have to criticize? I mean, I don't do that. I don't spray paint my engines and stuff. I do spray paint. So if I'm doing air cooled, I'll spray paint the tin. I'll clean that and spray paint that, and that's fun. I just enjoy that so much. But I'll do that. I'll do the air shroud, but I don't do the engine because I'm worried about where the paint's gonna wind up. Okay, I'm worried about that, and also I don't really see the point of it, to be honest. All right, so let's take a look here. The one guy said, the reason I was asking was because I got a used Bossy kit with engine for very cheap. My 1.9 is running fine, but I'm preemptively. I mean, if you got a Bossy kit for cheap, that's fine. You can replace it. At the end, more reliable, more power. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, the other thing you got to think about too, though, is the Waterboxer has no timing belt. Okay. And also, Subaru engines also have head gasket issues. So, you don't have, in a Waterboxer, no timing belt. You don't have a timing belt. I just had a shop call me yesterday about they were doing heads and stuff. And they said, where's the timing belt? I'm like, does not have one. Okay, so you don't have to worry about a timing belt pulley, timing belt tensioners. Okay, all that stuff. Nope. Okay, and head gaskets. Okay, I understand that, but also Subaru have head gasket problems, and they've had them for, have had it for many years. So there's always pluses and there's always minuses. Okay. Okay, VW. I'm sorry I made you mad. Bye. No, I was kidding. I didn't mean to, but there's always plus and minus. Like I said, I don't. If somebody wants to do a Subaru conversion, fine, go for it. And also the Bossig, I've did them, and they're fine. But you just have to kind of weigh it. Is it right for you or not? Do you have the skill level to do it? All right. So Oregon Express says here in Jersey, in Germany, sorry, you can get a rebuilt 2.1 DJ for 4,500 euros. That isn't cheap. That is not cheap. Any of the bits like distributor intake. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You're in Germany, right? You're in Germany, so probably a lot of that cost is labor, right? It's labor because the people, they earn money there, and they're not gonna not leave some good paying job to do engine rebuilds unless they're gonna get paid good, and then they're gonna get a month off for vacations every year. So all that stuff is baked into the price of stuff and things. Okay, that's one of the reasons why it's that expensive. The parts alone, I would tell you, for that DJ thing, the parts to do that rebuild at a wholesale level is less than 2,000 euros. It could be as low, depending on how much they do. It could be 1,500 euros. Okay, and so the rest of that 4,500, what is that? That's labor. That the 3,000 more euros is all labor. I guarantee it. So that's what it is. But when you live in Europe, you live in Germany, you get the benefits, right? You get the whole month off, and get a paid vacation of a month, and you get all the other stuff and things, the health care things and all that stuff. So, but you pay for it. You also pay for it. So anyway, so there's pluses and minuses, right? There's pluses and minuses living in the U.S. There's pluses and minuses living in Jersey or in Germany. Not Jersey. I live in Jersey. I mean, I talked to a German couple that was living in Florida the last time we rented a house in Florida, and they had moved from Germany to Florida because And I said, why? Why did you do that? And they're like, well, we like the freedoms, and we like, they felt like they was paying too much taxes in Germany and all this other stuff. And that's their opinions of things. They moved to Florida. So I have another friend who moved from Germany to Belize, and he was working really, really hard in Germany, and he was making really good money. And he said, I need to move to Belize to relax and not work so hard. And then he moved to Belize and worked 10 times harder and barely making any money, because there's no money in Belize, believe me. You can take it there, but you're not making it there, believe me. You can make it somewhere else and send it there, but that's about it. And I mean, he almost killed himself working so hard, but he loves it. He wouldn't even go back to Germany to get his leg. His leg got broken, and he has osteoporosis and some other problems. I'm like, why don't you go to Germany just to get your health care? Because he lived there till he was probably like 40. So, I mean, he had paid into the system all that time. And now when he needs health care, he's getting it in Belize. Which is terrible. But he won't. He will not go back. Okay, so that's his choice. Alright, so anyway. Alright, so I'm not being political. I'm just saying there's always, right, good sides and bad sides to everything. And you just learn to live with it, deal with it. Once you know what the rules are, you can do anything. So I guess I'm going to let it go for tonight, guys. It's been an hour. Hope you guys had a good time. I did. And I got to show you my amazing book. I'll show it again here at the end because we got way more people on here. Look at this amazing book. Combi. The Life and Times of Volkswagen. No, that's not what it says. It says Combi un art de vivre, which means the art of life, I think. Okay. Or an art of life, or something like that. Okay. All you guys that know French will say, no, you're doing terrible. It's a terrible thing. Okay. But this is a nice book. Like I said, if you guys want me to start carrying it, I will. But it would probably be $65, $69. But I tell you what, if you had this in your van or you had this on your coffee table, you would be having a lot of conversations about stuff. It's very nice. And I showed the pictures already, so if you missed out, you had to go back and watch the beginning. Alright guys, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. And thank you, Steve, for sending us customers. We have been doing that, so thank you so much. Nugavan, thank you. Also, Oregon Expat, thank you. Also, I mean, I buy my parts from Europe, and then I get customers from Europe calling me, asking me for parts, and saying they can't possibly get them in Europe. I'm like, okay, because I just bought them there like last week, but whatever, I send them back. So, have a great week, guys. Thank you for being out, okay? And I will do that. I will do that. Alright, and so, we will see you guys hopefully next week on our next live stream. Alright, thanks guys. We'll talk at you later on. Let me close this down here. Have a great weekend, guys.